This was on a grave that was left on a grave in the churchyard at Radlett, and I picked it up at midnight last night. I hopped over the wall into the cemetery on a whim after talking to my friend Richard, a new friend Richard that I met in Radlett, and I found 3 beautiful, beautiful gravestones with 3 crosses, all kind of in an interesting arrangement. Nothing symmetrical, nothing that looked like it was sort of they were meant to be together, but they seemed together. And then I walked all around the graveyard, and my feet really are shot full of shoes. Are shot full of holes. My feet hurt quite a lot when I walk because I got holes in my shoes, and then I found this grave, and it's a fresh, new grave, and it was Mum, Gran, Lady Margaret, and I immediately thought of Margaret Thatcher. But although I must look up her style. Another one said Grandma. It was abandoned in the corner, and it looked like it was the same lettering made of flowers on black framework, which said Grandma, and they had different names for their grandmother, but it looked to me like it belonged to the same grave, but it had all been mixed up. And I think that's something important about how we name people, how we talk about people. Thinking about my dad's cousin, Ingrid Folk, and I always thought of her as Inky, and I'll always think of her as Inky, and I can't help it. That's my. For some reason, when I lived in Bolivia, she became like a substitute mum for me, and because I'd had a quite close, although not a very close, but not frequent connection with Rose, her mother, was Ingrid's mother. I used to visit her in London in her flat, and we had some really, really beautiful evenings. And I'm not ashamed. I was completely in love with Rose. I wanted to kiss her. I wanted to marry her, and but I didn't say that. But that was our relationship, was that kind of distance. And there you go. Rose and Lindsay Folk divorced, and Lindsay died recently, and I made jokes about Lindsay's funeral being, because Lindsay, when I first met him in Cape Town, was where my parents went to stay with him, was a crazy guy. He had this beautiful house. He's an architect, and you can look him up. Falck. He had a Rolls-Royce hearse and a Merlin engine in the back of it, and this lot was in his kind of a beautifully built house, which was a sort of studio house. I mean, that house he designed it for himself, and then he added a bit for the family. But that's okay if you're an architect. You're allowed to do that, I reckon. God, that was a beautiful house. And I made jokes about what his funeral was going to be like, and I don't know. Ingrid was here in London, and I wanted to see her, and I wanted to see her with my daughter Helen, and I thought I had great hopes. They came over the week just before Easter. It was going to be good. I wanted to see her, and they went off. My family all went off flying. The Falk family all flying all over the bloody place. Ingrid was coming from the Middle East and staying over in London, or maybe moving back. I don't know. Alan was off to a wedding in Argentina, and so there we go. Anyway, that's how we got from Margaret Thatcher. Mark Thatcher has got lots of friends in Cape Town, and I would have hoped by now that Mark Thatcher and some of his Cape Town friends would have got in touch with my brother, and that this is all a big thing. But I'm still in hell, but I'm actually quite happy in it. Quite happy.